Hello, I'm Katie Cowan, and this is the Creative Boom Podcast. This week, our guest is Michael Freimuth, the co-founder and creative director of Franklyn, a respected design studio in New York. Now, if you find yourself on Michael's personal website, you immediately get a sense of his personality and character. There's definitely a whole heap of humour there, but a dose of humility too. He doesn't take himself too seriously, but is passionate about the people and causes he gets behind. Whether he's focused on branding, design or illustration, collaboration and play are at the heart of everything he does. A graduate of the Rhode Island School of Design, Michael's already enjoyed much recognition during a varied and rewarding career. Early on, he received the ADC Young Guns and New Visual Artists Awards, recognising the world's top creatives under 30. A decade later, he's happily still at the helm of Franklyn, but much has changed since the pandemic, and more recently, since becoming a father. In this episode, we get quite nostalgic, talking about Michael's childhood in Chicago and how his time spent with friends and growing up watching John Hughes movies inspired how he is today. With collaboration being so important to him, it almost feels as though that 80s innocence of bike rides, tree climbing and scratched knees, and the occasional shenanigans with friends has never really left him. It's this optimism that shines through his personality and his work. We've mentioned how he feels about play, which comes across in his illustration practice. But whilst he mostly pokes fun at the world around him, he simultaneously highlights important issues. Here, he gives us a wonderful insight into studio life beyond New York City, the difficult balance of career and fatherhood, and the legacy he wants to leave behind for his son. And we discover why he might just make a short film with childhood friends inspired by those seemingly simpler times. Am I getting a little deja vu here, Michael? I mean, I feel like there might be a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, I almost feel like we've done this 2, 3, perhaps 4 times before. Katie.
I know. And whose fault was that?
You know, let's blame the Matrix. Why name names for whose fault it was? It was the Matrix.
Oh, I can totally see why you are a popular character and have kept in touch with your childhood friends. You're very kind. Just for the purpose. As a little kind of side explainer for our listeners, I've messed up this recording and it is my fault, although I kept saying it was your fault. About 4 times. So very grateful to be chatting with you today.
I'm glad you said that because I also want to admit that I have zero confidence in my own ability to podcast because of the amount of times I've been blamed for it not working. So I'm not going to let that anxiety ruin today, but
we're going to move forward together.
Yes.
As one, and
Lovely.
we're gonna get through this, and hopefully nothing will go wrong. This is hilarious. So how have you been? Because you were one of those to leave New York during the pandemic, and you haven't really gone back.
No, I mean, not literally. I've been back a few times, but not to live. So we left at early pandemic, mostly because we were lucky enough to have a place to go at that time, and we continued to run our design studio, Franklyn, remotely during that time. But yes, truly it was, some of us migrated out of the city, but a lot of folks were still there. And it's now, what is it? What are we, 2.5 years later?
Yeah.
Many things are kind of returning to normal, or at least seem like they are. And so we do have our studio still in Brooklyn. People are going there regularly. I try to go in a few times a month, which is much more than I can say I was doing a year ago.
I bet. Gosh, I mean, it's like everything has, like when we say everything's gone back to normal, it has in the sense that life is going on, but it is nowhere near the same as what was before, really, for a lot of people I speak to.
Yeah, and when I say normal, I'm not actually one of the normal people. I'm still everybody is not wearing their masks, hanging out, doing their things, especially in the city. We have a very tiny baby here in the house, so we've kind of almost like continued the COVID bubble, partly because he just needed his vaccinations and things like that, for the last 6 months. So I can't pretend to be back in it, really. but I think a lot of it seems to be.
You look very well. It looks like it's doing you proud, this kind of country bumpkin life.
I did about 45 minutes of makeup for this call, Katie.
Same.
So thank you. Thank you.
Do you know what? It's because you're wearing your correct seasonal color palette. Have you had your colors done?
You know what? I've maybe it was the COVID, but I got a little salt and pepper here. If you're talking about my hair, that's one thing. If you're talking about...
You've got a little man bun going on.
I'm so glad you mentioned something about that. It's mostly functional, not really style driven. But yeah, I do. In fact, it is a new innovation of like a week ago. So it still feels not stupid to me, but feel free to let me know. I have no perspective because
looks good.
So fresh.
Looks good. And the grays are coming out. You look very distinguished. You're very lucky, you men. You kind of age very well.
I can't disagree with that. I do look good. I wore a nice shirt for you today with one of my favorite brands. It's blue. I think I look good in blue. You
do. It's as I was saying, it's your color. I think you might be a true winter like me. You suit the jewel colors.
Yeah. No, I agree. I can't disagree with that.
It's a Colbert blue if we don't show this video, but if we do, then that was completely pointless. So, we're getting a little kind of dose of your sense of humor here and possibly a hint at the kind of era both of us grew up in. And you grew up in Chicago in the glorious 1980s. What was that like?
I know we've almost touched on this before. I have taken to describing it sort of like a John Hughes style. Not quite, because I think, as I've mentioned before, I'm not actually that old. That would make me like 50 something. I think if I was actually like Ferris Bueller's age or something.
Yeah.
But it was the same backdrop. So the North Shore of Chicago. And it felt very much like that. So yeah, I still feel a lot of kind of warm nostalgia to 80s and 90s, which is probably very normal, but it's still comforting. Like, ridiculous old movies are still just as comforting as they always have been.
Yeah, I think this is what I consider all the time. I'm like, is this just a natural thing that every generation is nostalgic about the era they grew up? Or do we have a particular, special slant in that we were kind of the last generation to know what it was like before smartphones and the internet and all the things that have come with it, good and bad?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like we could ask someone and they could tell us if they grew up in the 70s and feels like a way. But I agree. I kind of, maybe it's just because it's what I've got, but I've felt very lucky with where I like plugged in to being alive. Like we got to experience not this mass media experience and, being constantly bombarded with cell phones. I know what that's like. I can still like tap that in terms of, feeling the comfort of knowing what that's not like. But then we also were old enough to see the early internet. And then, we're just dating ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm kind of going back a lot to that era at the moment. We've just downloaded, and that's the thing we never used to say. We just downloaded the Return to Monkey Island. Did you ever play that when you were a kid?
No.
Oh my God.
Is it a British thing? Is it a game or a movie?
It's a game. It's a classic game with the main star being this pirate called Guybrush Threepwood.
Oh my God. No, I feel like I would know this.
Oh, you'd love it.
This.
You should. I will send you a link after this.
Please do.
So you lived in the next street along from where they filmed Home Alone, right?
Close. I was literally down the block from the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, like the end scene, John Candy, Steve Martin walking towards this Steve Martin's house.
Yeah.
I could see that house from my house. Home Alone was like one town over, but you could get there in minutes.
Good grief.
And then all the high schools that were, whether it was Breakfast Club or Ferris Bueller's, it was, if not literally our high school, in some cases it was, like the high school where Ferris Bueller picks up, what is the female actress who's in that? His girlfriend. When he picks her up and pretends to be the dad, that is also the high school that I went to. So
Oh, really?
Hard to get away from it growing up.
You kind of grew up in a kind of, I guess, like John Hughes movie then.
A little bit. I mean, if I could choose one, it might be like Weird Science. I'd like to be in that one. Actually, is Weird Science Hughes? If not,
yes,
it feels
is.
like it. It feels
Kelly
like
LeBrock.
it is.
Every boy's fantasy back then, I suppose.
We just rewatched. Oops, I'm not supposed to do that.
No, bang away. You're fine.
We just rewatched Risky Business, which I don't know how well that ages. I mean, there's parts to it, but
yeah.
That also is like Chicago suburbs. That was not my, to be clear, that's not my high school experience.
No. It was Mia Sara, if I've pronounced that correctly, who was Sloane Peterson. And Ed Rooney. Do you know, though, the star of that film was Eddie McClurg, who played Grace, who had the sort of pencil in her hair, and she was Jeffrey Jones's assistant. She was like, "Listen, young man." She was brilliant, unsung hero. I love that film. So it kind of makes sense, really, that everything was filmed in Chicago, because I didn't realize until I was like doing a little bit of research before this chat that he grew up in Chicago. So it makes total sense. It's based on his life, isn't it?
It does.
Yeah. And you're still in touch with your buddies from back then. And my goodness, you're going to do a short film together inspired by John Hughes movies. Is that right?
Well, you know what? Now that you've said it out loud, I guess people are going to know. Let's just say we're in the early stages of that. I'll give you the I don't want to give too much away because it doesn't really exist yet. So I can't give too much away.
Okay.
But we had a very interesting Boy Scout experience, not in a weird way. As kids, we actually had a really kind of like a special group of young people, and then like a much older generation, like World War II veterans who kind of helped organize the Boy Scouts in our area. Oh. And I'm going to currently sidestep all the problematic aspects of the Boy Scouts that didn't exist for me when I was a kid, luckily. But there's just too many ridiculous stories that I feel like could be really interesting vignettes. And I'm playing it safe by doing something very short. So we're beginning to write the screenplay. We're beginning to talk to some folks who could help us make it real, but very early days. But now that, we're talking more about it, I do think the John Hughes, it needs that twist. I'm not sure what the contemporary twist is to it, but it literally is that location where kind of everything happens. So I think it'll be interesting to kind of play with the premise of the 80s as a backdrop.
Yeah, it'll be very nostalgic and fun to do, but with today's standards, I suppose, and not that,
and humor, I think, and like self-awareness, and I think that'll be part of it, But how can you still get some of that warmth that you felt in a John Hughes kind of context?
Will you be going for sort of his classic teen movie comedy sort of feel, or will you go for his kind of like more grown-up trains, planes, and automobiles?
Good question. So it would be about us or a collection of, whether they're literally us or, representations of kids. So from maybe 10 to 14 in that range. So I think it's got to have moments of that. I wonder if there is some link to the present that can happen, because if it is mapping a little bit to reality, I'm still friends with all these people that I knew back then. Yeah. And so all these stories I've carried with me for, 25 years. And I wonder if there is like just a sharp, smart way to also just like make a nod to the fact that we all know each other. Or perhaps the joke is that these iconic or memorable moments that happened way back then, humorously or deeply influenced us who we are today. Like if I was a character, maybe I have my first moment of graphic design-ness happen in Boys. This is probably a dumb idea. And then like fast forward to me here. Look at me. I'm a design person. But I don't know. I'm literally saying this for the first time. I haven't thought about it out loud. So thank you for not judging me.
Do not judge at all. I think the best ideas are things that you kind of keep coming back to, and then they just grow into something, and then often become something completely different. So
yeah. Well, I like the idea that it wouldn't be my thing. It would be a collaborative experience. And that's probably where a lot of the fun comes on the creative side as well. Is it's better if it's not, it can just be one person's idea, but in this case, I like that it's truly kind of multiple people, multiple minds, multiple perspectives coming together.
If you're doing it from the perspective of the Boy Scouts, and I don't know what the kind of link is there with it potentially being a bad thing. Are we saying similar to the Catholic Church? Or
yeah, you got it. You nailed it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Sorry, it was too vague. It's because I haven't actually.
Allegedly. I just must say.
I don't know if it's alleged anymore.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Right. Innocence there going on. UK Britishness. I can remember my old brownie teacher, and just bless her, that she used to just smell really badly. And we all used to fight over who had to sit next to her when we were in that kind of circle of trust.
Was her name Grace? Poor Grace.
No, I can't remember her name. She was very kind. Did you have in the Boy Scouts different clubs which you had a sort of different mascot for? I think I was in the Pixies. I love the Pixies.
I feel like it was more numbers, but that sounds fun to be in the Pixies group.
There you go.
There's this troop.
There's 13. Some gender roles for you. A little pixie holding up a broom. Go clean the house, little girl.
Teach them early.
Get them in the kitchen sink.
No, but they before you're a Boy Scout, you're a Cub Scout. There are den mothers, like where my mom was. There's a bunch of moms. Interesting. I haven't even put a lens back on this stuff, but yes, it's pretty stuck in its stereotypes. Anyway,
this is what my idea was, and you don't have to go with this, although I'll be deeply offended if you don't. It's how about you be the kind of, is it Boy Scout leaders, and then the actors that you bring in to play you, they play the kids, obviously.
I like it.
Yeah.
Do the intergenerational. Yeah, we could. Did you ever see the movie Super Troopers?
No. Who did that?
You're telling me to watch Magic Rangers monkey game, I'm going to send you Super Troopers.
I do love a good movie.
Because I think there's a little bit of a humor tone that I feel like we could pick up on that. And it's also kind of like an adult buddy movie.
Right.
It involves uniforms that are kind of like Boy Scouts, but different. But yeah, that is a great idea. And you don't have to be offended, because I think we're going to do that.
Okay. I love it. Can I be in the credits, please?
Totally. What do you want? Just tell me you're in.
Can I just make up a job title?
Yeah, I would.
Something like One Idea Activator.
Sounds good. You could maybe be the first name that comes up.
Oh no, really, I wouldn't dare to. That I'm humble. Come on.
You don't want executive producer credits.
Oh no. I'll just be the silent kind of, I could have a cameo role maybe. I could be like the kind of the lovely nun that comes in and is really nice to all the boys and gives them sweets. Oh no, that sounds really sinister.
A little bit. Maybe let me just send the screenplay to you, and you can just weigh in, add these moments of joy into the story. I might.
Is there any kind of evil characters, or is it just pure nostalgia, pure goodness?
I love that you're asking questions like I have any idea what this is yet, but these are all great questions. I think there should be something. I don't know if it's sinister, or just how dark we want to go. It could.
Oh my goodness,
it could. Okay, I'm probably spending too much time on this, but I was thinking each character almost has a vignette about them. So it's almost, maybe I'm cheating, there's not a huge narrative arc here, but it's like a character-driven vignette that's kind of definitional for that person. And it's each around, it's jumping off from some ridiculous thing that we did. Whether that's not that. It's not ridiculous. It's not like there were drugs or guns with 12-year-olds, but there was shenanigans. Do you have that word over there? Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. It's a great word.
Yeah. I think it's that. But then maybe every now and then it'll tip just a little too far. Maybe there will be a gun.
I love the suspense you're building here. Who are you going to get for the voiceover for the trailer? I mean, that's going to be, chosen very carefully.
Just a bunch of kids. Just a bunch of kids talking over it.
In a town back in the 80s, when life felt better and more warm and comforting.
Less cell phones.
A bunch of boys hung out together and did stuff.
They did things.
Are you going to have a cameo? Are you going to have a cameo appearance from Molly Ringwald? I think you should.
Once again, these ideas, I'm going to take. I can't believe I'm not taking notes.
You've clearly got me on a subject that is close to my heart, so I'll move on.
Okay, I'm cool. We can whatever you feel like. Although these are genuinely good questions, I'm going to bring them back to the team. I'll get back to you on them.
Can I be part of that brainstorm, please?
That'd be great.
That'd be great. I can come in on a big screen like Dr. Evil. So I didn't know that Hughes grew up with 3 sisters and that he lived in Northbrook. Does Northbrook sound familiar to you?
It does. That was close to where I grew up. I love that you actually look at this research you did. These are things I don't know.
I know.
But I probably should.
I could be your researcher.
That was nearby. That was right up the road.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I thought you would know this because I thought, oh, maybe that's the connection because, you know, he was such a local hero. But I didn't realize he was a university dropout.
Once again, amazing to know that.
I know.
Yeah. What's wrong? Yeah, plenty of. That's kind of fun.
But you are not. You kind of stayed at. Was it? Where did you go again? Was it Rhode Island?
It's a convoluted path I went on, but I'll make it brief. I went to Washington University, which was in St. Louis, which was in the Midwest, and then I transferred to Rhode Island School of Design on the East Coast.
Beautiful.
In Providence.
You realized that change is good and went and did something that was more suited.
It was way more arbitrary than that. Basically, I went with a girl I was dating to RISD, whose sister went to school there, and we broke up on the airplane. It was a weird weekend, but
dramatic.
Yeah, but because of that, I kind of got to explore the town and the school all by myself one weekend. And I kind of had never been truly to the East Coast. And I sort of fell in love with Providence. And then I had just discovered a visual communications class at my then current college and was kind of smitten with it. So it was sort of this perfect, mix of finding something I thought I really, really enjoyed and then having this opportunity to visit this place that seemed to be doing it at a different level. And I applied, and it was the only art school I applied to, and I transferred, and I went.
Amazing. It's good to know. I mean, because John Hughes, meanwhile, which,
let's bring it back to who matters.
Yeah, absolutely. More important. Let's talk more about him than you.
Yeah. What did John do?
He ended up writing and selling jokes for famous performers like Joan Rivers, and he ended up being an ad copywriter for Leo Burnett, and then he later worked at National Lampoon magazine. I mean, how do you follow that? Are you kind of, a little bit kind of intimidated by that success?
A little bit. But that helps explain something. The diversity of experience, never a bad thing. Feels like there is also, there's tremendous amounts of humor peppered into his work. I wonder, I'd like to see some of that National Lampoon's early John Hughes stuff. I wonder what that reads like.
Oh, I bet it's inappropriate.
Like the dirtier version before he became mainstream.
Yeah, before Hollywood. I can only imagine. Because, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is like a classic, isn't it? Do you watch it in your household, or is it like just too cringeworthy now?
No, we do. Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I think that's a classic. I feel like we've been going through what else? Like we did watch Vacation the other day. I think also, to be honest, like during pandemic, we have not to keep talking about the 80s movies, but we went through almost every 80s movie I can imagine in the last 2 years, just probably for the same reason, because it's comfortable and overly safe, probably.
Yeah. Isn't it weird that we do that when there's lots of uncertainty and times are turbulent? We just kind of resort back to the things that, back to happier times, like the Goonies. I mean, God, that was just my childhood.
Oh, I love those Goonies.
That's
Data. When I have asthma, and when I realized I had asthma, which I realized on a Boy Scout campout because it was super dusty. Ooh. I couldn't breathe. I came home, I threw up, which is somehow asthma related. My parents took me to the ER. They're like, you have asthma. And I was excited because Mikey from Goonies had an inhaler, which is awesome.
Yeah, me too, actually, because I have mild asthma. And what sets you off these days? Is it damp on cats and tree pollen like me?
Well, so we just moved. We moved to a new home in the last few months, and I don't think they'd ever cleaned the ducts in this house. Oh. So you don't want to even imagine what was up in those ducts. Things like cats, probably. I didn't see. I don't believe there was actually a cat there. But that's pretty gross. Yeah, I did a little allergy test, and now we're truly off topic, but I'm allergic to basically everything, whether it's like bark, rocks, inanimate things, plastic. It's not great.
It's not good. We have a lot of things we have to be aware of. I mean, my husband's so used to my allergies now that when, say, if we are looking for properties to buy, which hasn't been the case for a long time, he'll just send me in first like a bomb disposal expert and just say,
see what happens.
Go on in, see what happens to your lungs. And my lungs will just go, and I'll go, like no, damp. No, we've got to go. Turn around. There's mold.
Oh, yeah. No, like a canary. No, we had them cleaned. Let's say there's a happy ending here. That this house is clean.
Because you've kind of done two steps, haven't you? You've moved out of New York and then you kind of ended up in am I going to say this wrong? The Catskills? Well,
so, yeah, I wish this was like a easier, smoother explanation. But yeah, we moved north of New York, in New York's state, like 2 hours north of the city for most of the pandemic. And then a lot has happened in the last year. I got married.
Yes.
We had a baby.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Again. Thank you. You've met David. He is handsome.
He's stunning. Clearly takes after his mother.
Look at this child.
Sorry, bit of British. Oh
my God. Look at that. Look at that smile.
He is absolutely adorable.
And I know some people say that or you feel you have to say that. But it's obvious you're not just saying it.
No, I'm one of those people who's just very honest. I just look at parents and say, no, that's an ugly baby. Sorry. No, I don't, honest. But can you imagine?
Don't bring him around. It's not a good-looking child.
He's scaring the cat.
Yeah, I'm allergic to him.
Oh, no, he genuinely is a gorgeous baby. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you. I wish, I get a little credit, not much.
Look at your little face. You're just like, honestly, it's so nice. And before we hit the record button, it was lovely to sort of do all those kind of, voices and waves of the hands, scaring him with my massive hands. Thank you.
He's 6 months old today, actually.
Oh, so, 6 months.
But yeah, yes, there's been a number of shifts, and you asked about where we live now. So moved out of New York, did get married, also got a puppy. Just while we're doing all the things you can do during a pandemic, we got a puppy. Who's now locked in a far side of the house because he was being a little asshole.
Yes, and you have to pick up the poo.
Well, you do. Unless you leave it long enough and you then mow over it with the mower. I found it's almost better that way.
It goes everywhere.
Yeah, it's great. It's like fertilizer. And
I can hear David now.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. It's cute. Oh,
it's cute. Perfect for a podcast.
I was gonna say, like, I'll come on to my next question in a minute when you tell me about what where you went next, because you're now in Connecticut, but that's kind of like where your parents are. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So when we knew we were having David, we began to look to be closer to them. My folks are a little bit older, and we just wanted to spend as much time as we can with them. So yeah, I don't think we would have moved unless that were the case. And it really felt like we could also get closer to the city. So we now have also moved back much further south, closer to the city, so I can get in regularly.
Nice.
And it was, frankly, I feel, again, very lucky. It was kind of perfect timing. So we moved in the spring. David was born in the spring, and we've been here just kind of getting used to the area. But it's relatively rural. It's still, I think that's something we might have talked about in one of the other Matrix conversations we had.
Podcasts.
Yeah, but I used to tell myself this story, which I think was true then, that I loved coming out of the city to kind of rejuvenate a bit and relax. And then I like going into the city to work and be there during the week. And it slowly began to flip. And I think it's still true. But I love being city accessible, but then having, I don't know, a lot more green space nearby. So I've been wondering if it would do anything to my work or practice or process, or just the, not being in there. And it's, in some ways, it gives me more headspace, like space to just be thinking rather than just doing. But I still definitely miss just the energy of being down there, especially amongst the team, which is now remote, but people can come in regularly to the office. But I definitely miss a lot of that kind of collaborative spirit, without going deep into what the future of work for design studios is. I think it's in flux, but it's mostly working for us. So it's working reasonably well.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go into that.
No, I was going to ask, because collaboration is like a big part of what you do and what you're very proud of. And so that was kind of my question. How have you kind of been able to sort of still collaborate and make that happen with everything sort of changed now and everything being so remote, in not just in personal circumstances? I guess it's changed in many ways because of the pandemic for a lot of people. Yeah.
Well, I wish I had I can explain what's been true for me, which is that parts of it have certainly been harder, and at certain levels. I think when we began when the pandemic kind of began and we were out of the city and everything truly kind of switched to kind of Slack and email and messaging, there was a tremendous amount of frustration, but it also pretty quickly opened up the fact that everyone could be a lot more autonomous, maybe even than we gave them credit for. I think there was something to myself and my partner when we were in the city where, like, we were there, so we were available. And since we're so used to just, whether it was like providing direction or feedback, I hope we didn't, we weren't the micromanagers I fear we were, but I think inevitably, distributing like disallows a lot of that. And it was, so on the flip side, it's good for us. It was, I think, an empowering, circumstance for the entire design team, I hope. Mm-hmm. And I think as we've dealt with this over the last few years, we've tried to come back to figuring out, like, what are those moments of collaboration that are, worth doing in person, or that truly do require more than just like a Slack note, which of course is when so much of our work, maybe it is digital, but there's still, physical work, production work, feedback to be given, sketches to be made. These things still, I think we still struggle a little bit to get to those moments, especially in, I would say, kind of in teaching and mentor kind of capacity. I feel like that's one of the things that I'm not sure if we've solved this yet, which is, I feel like one of the benefits, especially for folks coming out of school that might have joined Franklyn, was kind of being on site and learning, by kind of a little bit osmosis, but also just directly with more senior creative staff. I can sit there and work with someone on something very directly in a way that just hasn't quite been possible. Mm-hmm. As helpful as Figma is, as nice as, or annoying, but also helpful Slack can be, it's, I don't think we've quite figured out. And I almost think it hasn't been enough time to know if there's been, what's lost.
Yeah. We're
lucky that a number of our staff, were with us before the pandemic. So we'd all worked together. I think we had kind of a language and a process and a way of working, and it wasn't that difficult to transition. But for folks that are new to us, or that have been literally, maybe we are now, some we've literally never met in person, as we begin to hire kind of internationally as well. And that's, again, a challenge that I think is just in progress, is how do we translate the knowledge? How do we share some of the culture?
Yeah. And that is a challenge. Distance. Yeah. Because the culture, I imagine, at Franklyn is like, with this kind of lovely warm tone over it, there's some, we're going back
Hughes,
to John Hughes. Yeah. I totally can imagine it. I feel like you kind of probably have a culture there where everybody feels very much part of a family, and that there's a case of not taking yourselves too seriously. I mean, that comes across in your personal branding, that humor and warmth comes through. Does that translate to the rest of the team and the studio that you've built? Have you really kind of purposefully created a culture?
That's a good question. I think at the beginning of Franklyn, honestly, some of it was intentional, and then some of it was more like a reaction to what my partner and I had experienced in the past. So we both kind of worked at pretty ridiculously time-consuming, like maybe not life-sucking, but maybe life-sucking jobs in our 20s, and realized that was not for us, and we didn't want to give that to anyone else. So we really have always, at the core of Franklyn, tried to create a really healthy balance of work and not work. So essentially, we do our absolute best to minimize, late nights, weekends. I genuinely don't think anyone has. It happens certainly, but it's quite minimal. It extends to the clients we work with, as much as you might have a really sexy project or potential client. If they're a nightmare, we're in this privileged position to say like no to that. And I think we are very protective of the design team and their time in our process, so that it doesn't spill over and really like impact the work, but also impact the people. So I think we've been very deliberate about that. And it wasn't something that was always super clearly codified. I think it's happened over the years that we realized like we don't have to, like I like to think we're like the antithesis of what these other places were that I used to work at, which were just tremendous amounts of time, zero really boundaries between work and the rest of your life. And
sounds fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it feels pretty intuitive now that's like not helpful in a lot of ways. Like, yes, you can get a ton of work done and probably make a bunch of money if you like burn through your junior design staff, but they won't stick around, and they won't, like, I don't know. It feels like much more beneficial long-term to actually give people that space and freedom to just have their lives and realize that like work does not remotely have to be their life. It can be a part of it. It can be as big of a part of it as they like it to be. We recently, in the last year, mostly maybe the last 2 years, we've instituted this, I hesitate to say initiative because that sounds formal, but we have this play that we call it, which is everyone is intended to spend essentially half a day a week with flexibility around projects to kind of explore, research, and genuinely play without a tremendous amount of like structured output. Like, don't really care what comes out of it as long as it's in the creative space. Yeah. And that was something I wanted to do for a long time. It felt like kind of a little of a pipe dream in my earlier career that someone would just give you time to make a mess, or essentially like try to do something and completely fail. But I think that's maybe just a little anecdote within the context of Franklyn. Like, I really try to have that space for all of the design teams, so you can, it's hopefully helpful to give people that opportunity to kind of play and have no real consequences behind it.
It kind of opens up more possibility than just sort of working people to the bone. And, you kind of demonstrate some of that play on your personal website with all the kind of illustrations and little projects that you've kind of done over the years. Often with a political stance, but never too serious. There's always sort of like a dash of humor that you sort of always sort of fall back on, which, I feel like that reflects your personality in that, yes, you are very much in touch with the world and all these very sort of serious things that are going on, but you always sort of take that kind of lighter touch. Not that you're not taking them serious. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, thank you for calling it out. It's true. It's kind of what I've got, it's like, this is my skill set. This is what I think I'm good at. But I really enjoy it too. I have to say, like, I love the branding work that Franklyn does, but even with all these other things going on, I've tried to really make time for a bit more of my own practice, like adjacent to Franklyn. So it's something I actually did earlier in my career. I used to try to do more editorial illustration, and I did have a kind of a political bent to my work when I first came out of school, especially, which is now quite a while ago. But I I don't say I lost it, but I really did a tremendous amount with Franklyn over the last 10 years. And I sort of just pushed that other stuff, maybe not down, but to the side, and would just do it occasionally. But I feel like over time, it's become really important to me again to kind of be an image maker. And I think the illustrations and the editorial stuff that I've been doing lately it feels really good. And typically that's, that means something is happening that's going in the right direction. It is, yeah. Also the humor aspect of it. I think a lot of it was kind of manifesting with Trump, to be honest, over that administration. And it didn't feel like there were certainly things you could do out in the world. But one thing that I knew I could do regularly was at least poke at that Trump brand, as there was an interesting book by Naomi Klein. It was called No Is Not Enough. And it was almost a directive within there that using humor as a political tool is something that can be incredibly powerful. It doesn't mean it has to take it all down in one swipe, of course, but it's like you can poke at things and you can disrupt things, even in small ways, but helpful ways. And so I think when I was doing a lot of this kind of Trump poking, that was me getting back to some of these things that I used to do and having a lot of fun doing it, because I think they were silly, but they were serious. Like there was serious content behind it, but the execution was ridiculous, and I think that was actually the point.
It's really clever because a lot of the time, a lot of people are turned off by anything that's too political, too heavy. And just in this era that we're in now, I feel like even more people are like kind of exhausted by politics and all these kind of things that are going on. So you kind of approach it in a very smart way that actually gets you thinking, but also that dash of humor just kind of sort of takes the edge off that kind of seriousness, when we're all trying to just live in a John Hughes film and pretend, no, the world's fine, it's not going to blow up type thing. So I'm just looking at this very clever Apple Watch, which has got I'm assuming the computer from the classic film, and I've gone completely, my mind's gone blank. The classic space film.
Oh, 2001?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, that little guy. Yeah.
Yes. The privacy
Hal. You're thinking
via
of Hal.
Al. That's the name. Good grief, Katie Cowan. Where is your brain
Ridiculous.
going? I know. It's all these podcasts with these interesting characters. I know. I'm doing too much. Yeah. And I bought The Court and Building a Green Economy, and then, these very long wellies with a sort of, hinting to the floods, I presume.
You got it. Nicely done.
Climate change. Yes. I clicked on info, and it all became very clear. I'm with stupid. That's brilliant.
I thought that was pretty fun too. I think a lot of these, I guess they are humorous. I think I like to merge it with something that's like visually playful too. I mean, these ridiculously long, impossibly long Wellington boots. But there's a pretty earnest streak in me, probably. And I think part of it is without getting too deep into this, I have been thinking about what my now son, who's 6 months old, will think of his dad in the future, and wondering what I did. And I'm really happy to be building some things that I feel quite proud about. Like I'm equally happy to be building commercial work for clients. I got stuck with Franklyn and the branding work that I do, but I also get a lot of satisfaction from making these other messages and putting them out into the world. And that maybe has an even longer term effect, even if it's in some cases smaller. So I think I've been really contemplating that also in the context of Franklyn, and hoping we can also shift into more clients that are, in those spaces, whether they're cultural or political. Because I think you said this earlier, people are kind of tired of it. I mean, it's exhausting. It truly is. But at the same time, I think that's the alternative is, apathy doesn't help us at all. And so if you just let it, let it be overwhelming. You're like, I'm just done. I'm going to go watch my John Hughes movie. That actually doesn't help. And I think the reality is that this is always how it's been. Like everything towards progress and more equality has been a struggle. And it probably constantly felt awful. Maybe it feels particularly awful in this, like, you know, social media saturated environment. You just can't get away from it. Whereas like back in the day, you didn't have to look. You could maybe avoid being bombarded with it. But I was reading Rebecca Solnit's Hope in the Dark, which is a nice shortish book, but it has a tremendous amount of optimism around even being in a really, you know, problematic moment, that most progress is just because you're exhausted doesn't mean that you stop, or just because it is exhausting and overwhelming. That's kind of what the thing is, you actually never get to stop. It's almost, you have to accept the fact that you don't have to engage in it. That's certainly true. But the way that the change happens is that you actually never stop. And that's overwhelming and exhausting. And even the premise of that sounds exhausting to probably a lot of people, but maybe I'm building a little niche for myself where I don't have to ever stop. But I'm also, sorry, this is getting too abstract, isn't it? Does this make any sense?
No,
I guess
no,
you're saying a lot of the political and say like
I find you
environmental.
very fascinating. It's really interesting. And you know, you're right. The danger is that we kind of become too kind of blind to what's happening in the world, because we just sort of want a bit of, we want that kind of like nostalgia. We want that home comfort, but we all do have kind of a responsibility to contribute to positive change. And how we do that is kind of it can be the smallest of things, can't it? And what you end up teaching David, and the legacy you want to leave. You know, this is what you're getting at, right?
Yeah, I guess it is. I didn't realize that might be important to me. And I think I'm still kind of working through it. You know, how much, I mean, like a brand new parent, we don't really know what we're doing, but we're trying to understand, like, yeah, what values we want to share, I suppose, to make it sound like overly formal. But, you know, like what we do, I think is what he will see. It's what others see. I do feel lucky that I actually have an avenue for this. I'm sure a lot of people just don't, you know, like I get to literally make political artwork, right? And I can sometimes get paid for it. So that's an avenue, but many people don't, you know, that's almost like it's easy. It feels like an easier opportunity for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think, speaking of values, do you think you'll let David sit down with David and watch those John Hughes movies? Because they did have a lot of kind of life lessons, you know, Uncle Buck, for example, with John Candy. I mean, some of the wisdom he came out there.
Yeah. Love an Uncle Buck. Totally. Yes. I'm sure we will watch these movies. Oh. A friend of mine has, I believe he's 4, maybe he's creeping up on 5. And he was, instead of like doing, you know, any kind of screen stuff or like games or, you know, all the ridiculous amounts of 3D creatures that David will probably want to watch, he actually set up an old Apple IIgs, like Mac, and was playing like retro video games in his living room.
That's
and
insane.
I remember doing that too. Like like in the maybe like early 90s, whenever the hell the Apple IIgs, like Apple IIc came out. And I was like, that is a brilliant. It's like, not only do you get to like tap part of your past, but it's the like, I don't want to say like the safe video games, but like, it's not the ridiculous things you can play on your, you know, on your Nintendo these days. It's like, he was taking it back to basics, like playing whatever like Tetris like equivalent you could play on a black and white monitor. And I loved it. I thought that was brilliant. And that's a little bit of that. It's like placing you back in time a little bit temporarily. Yeah. It's kind of beautiful.
It's kind of lovely that you don't know the kind of person David's going to be yet, whether he's going to, you know, take after you or your partner, or, you know, what they're going to be into. Are they going to follow you in the same path, or your partners? You know, it's a fascinating time. And I'm sure he's starting to get more and more interesting as he gets older.
Yeah. And developing that personality, I keep thinking, because I'm creative and so is my partner, like he's going to be a banker, like almost definitely.
Probably working for a big oil company or something.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever the future terrible energy company will be he'll just
be
go straight
rebelling.
for it.
He'll be like,
my dad was too weird and artsy. And I go,
he was too good. I'm going to be bad.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Probably all your John Hughes VHS tapes.
Yeah. Terrible influence.
Yeah. Poor David. And he'll call himself Dave just to annoy you.
Yeah. Or Davey or something like that.
Davey, something crap like that.
Something crazy.
God. Anyway.
David.
It's so nice to hear you sort of where you're at. You've kind of moved out the city. Franklyn's going really well. You're still finding your feet with the kind of new way of working, but sounds like it's going really well. I mean, how are you finding the balance with fatherhood? And because it's, genuinely not a question I hear a lot. We talk a lot about motherhood and maternity leave and all the rest of it. But what's it like for you who genuinely wants to spend more time being a dad? And how are you balancing
asking
it?
The question. This has been, let's see, how do I answer this? So I'm lucky because my wife did have a really healthy maternity leave, and she's actually going back to work next Thursday.
Oh, how exciting.
I am switching, and then I will be taking care of David for kind of a belated paternity leave. So for the next 2 months. So I'm actually looking forward to that tremendously. I'm going to really put Franklyn and personal work on hold until the end of the year and take care of David. So I have the privilege and opportunity to do that. That's wonderful. And I feel very, very lucky to be able to do that. So that is one very direct balance. I'm like, you know what? Fuck work for a couple months. I'm going to hang out with David. But I have been at work the last few months, and it's difficult.
Yeah, I bet.
It's really difficult because he's such a smiley, lovely little child. And I want to like Ashley will make it look like he's levitating into the room from right over there. And I'm like, I can't work. I'm not going to work right now. I got to go over there.
He is really cute.
So basically I think I've just been not sleeping that much. And that's been my temporary, not quite balancing act. So I think, I'm trying my best to stay engaged at Franklyn, but also do a little bit of this more personal work that I've been mentioning. And then it's an imperfect balance, and it really varies day to day. And for instance, I thought I could dedicate a day to work last week, and then inevitably something popped up and it just was impossible. So I guess it's more just being fluid, but trying to take the times that I do have, really being aware, okay, I can send these emails during this hour, or I can go spend a little time with David, or maybe I can spend a little time with David and still do 30 minutes of emails. So I wish I could say I've remotely figured it out, but the problem is, like you said, he's too damn cute. So whenever he comes near, I'm like,
you should just
it's
teach
great
him
to
how
talk
to
to
type.
Katie, but the kid's over there. I gotta go.
Put him on your lap and teach him to type, and just get him working with you.
Thought he could be more of an intern. I thought he'd be more productive. Honestly,
Yes.
I'd like a developmental milestone that includes typing.
6 months old, I mean, really, what were any of us doing back then? Gurgling,
regurgitating
pooing a
milk,
lot,
pooping a lot. Well, pooping every couple of days.
Are we out of the black phase? The black poo phase? I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we've moved into the mustard phase.
Oh, mustard. Nice. And is it really kind of potent? Do you
it can
argue
be, especially
over
if it kind of builds up for a couple of days. For a little while, we're like, okay, he hasn't pooped in 4 days. We call the pediatrician. They're like, it can go 2 weeks. And we're like, are you sure? What's happening? And they're like, well, he's using the stuff he's eating to grow bigger. So he's not pooping. I'm like, great. Good to know. And so then a week in, it was like our normal morning. Everything seemed nice. And then something began to smell from the corner. And I was like, oh my God. It's like someone, maybe I'm glad this is a podcast. People can imagine this, but that's the thing he does. He can roll over, things like that.
That's incredible.
Not great
Smart
internship
kid.
qualities, but he'll work up to it.
Oh, bless. It's so nice. It's so nice to hear. Cause I feel like I've been on this journey with you partly. Because when when did we first attempt? Sorry, when did I first fail?
let's not say it like that. But it was before David was born because we were scheduled to do it the week before David was due.
Oh, yes.
And then David came a week early. And I think I was like, Katie, we're going into labor.
Oh, yes.
See you later.
Yes.
It was legitimately like, I mean, maybe we tried last year too, but I think it was early April was attempt at least number 1 or 2.
You have been so patient.
Then you said you'd come to New York and then you couldn't. We were going to do it in person.
I know. It's just been a crazy time. I feel like out of all of the last 20 years, decade, this has probably been the weirdest.
We haven't talked about you at all. I haven't heard anything that's going on.
This isn't about me. This is about you and my guests.
I feel like I should have had a little more context. Like what's been going on since we talked last?
Oh, I've just been working. I've been doing Creative Boom full time since early 2021.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of running this venture all out, which is amazing. And I'm working with some incredible brands, which hopefully people don't realize because I try and keep advertising off of my platform as much as possible. But yeah, I've done some stuff with Microsoft. I've been working with Adobe and Wix.
I get your newsletters that are fantastic.
Thank you very much. That's going through a bit of a redesign at the moment. 35,000 subscribers now or something like that. So that's nice. With an open rate of 40%, my love.
Holy crap.
That is
so humble. That's ridiculous.
Amazing. I know. It's because we're awesome. What can I say?
I'm glad you own it like that. That's good. That's fantastic. So things are good. Things are going
great.
well.
I'm great. Tom's great. That confidence fail I had a few years ago, completely over. I'm now completely full of anxiety. No, I'm joking. Roll out a John Hughes film, sorts me out. I'm okay.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. That's wonderful.
I think you are looking really well. I'm looking well. Oh, I've had my colours done. That's why I brought it up at the start.
Oh.
Yeah. See, I'm boring everyone with this at the moment. I'm like,
I don't know. If they see the video, they won't be bored because those are nice. Oh.
Well, I think you are a true winter because that's a cobalt blue and you look amazing in it.
Thank you. I also got a new monitor, so I think I look better because the monitor is making me look better. And I have one of those filters on my face that changes it subtly.
Oh, really?
No, not really. But I wish I could. I'd like to turn my hair green or mix it up a little bit more, but in subtle ways. And people are like, is he wearing eyeshadow?
Well,
who knows?
I might let you into a little secret. I'm using a filter.
Is that what you're doing it? What?
Because my teeth are actually, Austin Powers yellow.
Oh, I thought using your teeth are like sharp, but in fact they look normal.
They're great. I look like I could be American.
Can I do that? Does this app have that for me? It's a little fucked up if it just does it for you.
Do you know what? It was after seeing myself too many times with a triple chin, dodgy yellow teeth, and just looking tired and exhausted by the whole pandemic and the uncertainty and the madness. I just thought, right, I'm getting myself a decent iPhone. So my webcam's actually an iPhone.
Dude.
And then I'm using
I want to, I was going to say, I'm
so impressed with the man bun.
Do the man bun. Like, you can't really do that digitally. Too complicated right now.
Well, we just for the benefit of our listeners, we might sort of put this on YouTube. I think we should.
You know what? If you think it's right, I totally support that.
Oh, bless you. So, let's just go back before we sort of wrap this up. I mean, we've talked about collaboration. We've talked about your childhood and the amazing film. I can't wait to see it at Sundance and come along and wear a sparkly dress. Yes, silver is our colour, Michael. Silver.
You mean both of us?
Well, I'll wear a silver dress. You wear a black and white tuxedo because that is your because of your colour. The black and white tuxedo was made for us. Maybe I'll go in a tux.
Wear something shiny, like underneath, or maybe
maybe
shiny
you wear
shoes.
You could wear the silver dress. I'll wear the tux. The rest of the team can wear whatever the hell they want. I feel like I've just sort of shoehorned myself into this production crew here.
You're in. I mean, you're in. You're going to start getting emails from us. And I think, we can take some inspiration from Timothée Chalamet's wardrobe maybe, and let's see where it's at around the time that we want to be on the red carpet too.
Because a lot can change in 6 months, you know?
Yeah, strapless halters may not be cool in 2 years. Probably they will be.
It all depends on your body shape, darling. Because
True.
I'm a spoon.
I don't love my back, to be honest, so maybe we should cover it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of mine, really. Maybe I'll just stick to something. Anyway, we're going on this is what happens every time with you. We just go down little wormholes of madness. Let me get back to my questions.
Yeah, what was it? What was the question? We're talking about David? We're talking about John Hughes?
Well, we've kind of covered everything that I was going to ask you. You know, you're very good at that. I guess with everything in mind and, you know, everything we talked about, would you consider yourself an optimist?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when were you born? Let's work this
1980.
out.
Turns out
1980.
1980, a classically nice round number. I didn't realize that truly I'm termed a zennial.
Yes, same.
Yes, that's the little window
Tiny.
of zennialness. And I was sort of sad to be bumped out of the elder millennial category, but it's fair because I'm not right on that edge. And it's I like that space. Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, I'm a 1978 child, so I'm in that kind of tiny window as well. And we're described as hardworking, optimistic, entrepreneurial, by no means lazy.
We got lucky that, you know, kind of skated through a bunch of stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Not skipped it, but like the financial crisis and we kind of like bounced through some really troubling moments and here we are.
Yeah. You know how everybody hates the baby boomer generation now because they think they had it really easy.
Yes.
And whether that's true or not, I'm not going to say.
Fair.
But do you think we'll be the new hated generation?
The new hated?
Yeah. The zennials. Oh, those zennials.
Possibly.
They never realized how good they had it. Ugh.
But we do realize. I feel lucky every day. I'm definitely an optimist. I feel like it would be unfortunate not to be. Like, I also feel like I have to be with David and my circumstance and everything. Everything has been, I don't know. I guess I think that it's optimism, but not just kind of blindly optimistic. I think I've been able to like see positive things happen when I've been able to do certain things. I know that sounds really vague. I guess I just, like you said, I feel like there has been a tremendous amount of like professional work over the last 20 years. And I'm happy that it actually has had a good outcome for me. But I know it's not just about that. I feel like if, like you saw with some of my illustration work, it is optimistic. I'd much rather like be in that space, or maybe I just haven't been like beaten down enough to like not be yet.
It's the inevitable, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Not that there are like really like low moments, or, you know, I've had moments of like depression in my like life in my 20s, but like on average, yeah, I'm very hopeful. I'm very optimistic, and I want to also like give that to my son and have that be part of our family, I hope. So yeah, I want to try to cultivate that and make that be how I think that's one of the wonderful things about my wife is she is also just inherently like a positive person. And I think that's been really wonderful in a partner. And then also for having a small family, we try to keep it positive even when things completely fall apart, which they do and they have and they will. And so, yeah, I'm going to try to stay on the side of positivity, optimism.
Well, it sounds like David's going to be all right. He's going to turn out just fine. And sounds like you're going to have a really good 2023 too. So that's good. Can't wait to see you at the at Cannes, picking up the awards.
I'll see you there. Yeah. With whatever shiny things we're wearing.
I fly only first class, darling.
What was the credit? You got idea originator, activist,
yeah, just something that rhymes, something that's just absurd. That would be great. Something that it doesn't even make sense. I mean, that's kind of me, really.
Well, I'm gonna basically go away for a couple months now and hang out with David, but I will be back in the sense that I'm back in January, and maybe I can check and say hello, see how you're doing. Maybe one day next year you'll come to the States.
Oh, you bet I will. Don't you worry.
Will you really? I couldn't tell if that was sarcastic.
Well, I'll tell you why I couldn't come in a minute, but oh my goodness, I will. Okay. I love the States. And I want to and do not judge me, but I want to do, if I can, a classic Gilmore Girls road trip.
I don't know. I wouldn't know what to judge about that statement. So you can totally do that. You can absolutely do that. Come in the spring, stop by New York.
Yes. And then drive, which way is it? Up towards is it Vermont and all of that? Or is that just a bit cheesy? Yeah.
No, you can. You should. That's a good direction to go.
And then maybe drive to Chicago.
Why not?
Or is that too ambitious?
No, I've done it. It's about 12 hours, depending on the route. You can get there. And then you can do the Hughes tour yourself, which will put you at my old house. And that could be fun.
So fun. Such a geek
Go
that I am.
School.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for chatting with us. I'm really honoured that you found some time, given everything you've got going on at the moment. And I hope you really enjoy your time with little David.
Thank you, Katie. I really enjoyed this as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to learn more about Michael Freimuth, you can find everything you need via our show notes at creativeboom.com/podcast. That's where you can also hit subscribe and discover past episodes, including chats with Anthony Burrell, Marina Willer and Vanessa Scott. Next time, we'll chat with G. Torto, practice director at Rhode and based in Sydney, Australia. Until then.